Yes, Reds, we are back. Got a full house tonight. If you can't hear me, I've got a blocked nose, so you'll have to deal with it anyway. But look, we've got a stacked show tonight. Big game tomorrow. Massive game for both clubs, actually. We've also got Spurs guest with us. I'll come to him in a minute. But Adam, how are we?
All good, lads. All good. Ready for this game tomorrow. I'm actually looking forward to it tomorrow, lads. It's actually good going into a game with some wins, isn't it? For once.
It is. Greg, you're down there tomorrow, lads. You're excited?
Yeah.
How are you feeling?
I'm the same, mate. To be honest, like I'm looking forward to this one. It's not even because we've been better than what we have been, but it's purely just because like it's the last one to Christmas. You know, I feel like Tottenham away is the kind of game in which you can really turn your fortunes around. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, no disrespect to how Spurs have been this season. They have been worse than us. They've been crap, right? But the kind of, you know, the kind of away day that it is, the kind of like, you know, opportunity, I guess you can say, that you've got. You go down to London, you know, you try and get 3 points in it. Let's be honest, you know, we've seen it before. Tottenham's you know, if you go 1-0 down, their stadium, it's an unforgiving place. You can easily, you know, because you know it is, you know, it's one of them. If you go 1-0 down, you don't know what kind of Liverpool's going to react. You know, especially in that stadium, like I've been there, the atmosphere is always mental against us. So I think this is the kind of game in which you can, you know, you can really turn your fortunes around. Hopefully, going into the, you know, post-Christmas period.
Yeah, no, I agree. And look, obviously we've got a guest with us today. I was on his show last night. I don't know if any of the viewers watched it, but I put it, obviously retweeted it out. Harry, it's great to have you on, and also from our channel, congratulations on your award, mate. But also, give us a bit of an insight. You know, obviously, explain what your channel is, obviously for Spurs. Give us an insight with regards to Tottenham, because like I said to you on your show last night, I don't know whether some of the boys on here are the same as me. When Liverpool have been playing shite, it's hard for me to go and watch other games because I'm so depressed. But just give us a little insight and obviously explain about your channel so they can all follow you as well.
Firstly, thank you so much for having me. I've been really looking forward to tonight. So everyone, thank you as well for giving up your time to come on my channel. Big up to the viewers. I have a lot of time for Liverpool. I think they're a great club and, you know, often thrown under the bus a lot. So no, I think you're a good club. And, you know, where you are right now, I can be honest with you, you know, as a fellow, you know, top six club, you don't like to see it because Liverpool, you know, should be in a better position. They've got the, you know, fans, they've got the players. But on Tottenham, it's been disappointing this year. I think it's been, you know, it has to be a season of patience. In my eyes, it's about transition. But I think there's a real issue at the moment where we've won the Europa League last year. We reached the Champions League final, as you will know. You beat us in 2019. And this is, as much as it is a good thing, it's affected the team. Nobody will call it out, but there is, unfortunately, and I'm not afraid to say it, there's a level of entitlement within the fan base. Unfortunately, there's this expectation, boom, we've got to win straight away. I think it's a modern thing as well of instant success, but it's definitely affecting Tottenham. I think it's a wider modern game thing that does have to be discussed, because I deeply believe that someone like, I'm sorry to use your rival as an example, but Sir Alex Ferguson, we wouldn't get someone like that in football because they wouldn't be allowed the opportunity to turn it around or get it right in the first place. And that's a problem because, you know, you stall as a football club. So thank you so much, mate, by the way. So yeah, I just think you need to give managers time. And for me, Thomas Frank, it's been slow. Forest were awful. You thought we'd be the club that went through 3 managers and finished 17th, and because you could have lost that 6-0. If we'd lost 6-0, I'd be sitting here going, yeah, it's a fair reflection of the game. And that's how I honestly feel. So that's the concerning thing. But also, I look at that Newcastle game. Look, I know they're not perfect at all this year, Newcastle, nowhere near where they should be, or, you know, could be, let's say. But we come back from behind twice, and we dig in deep, we shut up shop, and we get it right, and then follow that up with 2 decent wins. Where was expected, I get that, but it's okay. For me, I think Frank's the right guy to unite the fans and the players at Tottenham. I think he's the right guy to do that. And when I talk about civil unrest between the fans and players, I'm just saying it for the sake of it. Like Vicario made that mistake. You probably would have seen it. If you haven't, don't worry, against Fulham, where it's really poor, right? It's catastrophic. But then he's booed. I was inside the stadium for 2 touches after that, not by just a select few, but quite a section of, you know, what stand in particular, the home stand. And that's not nice to, you know, see. And that is a build up of frustration more than just that moment. So Tottenham haven't been perfect this year. We're struggling going forward. That's the thing, because we're dire up front. Then the pressure's on the defence. They could cope with it to the start of the season. You know, we start good, morale's positive, new manager bounce. But now we just face so many shots, so many attacks. Midfield, we haven't found the right balance. I think I read a stat the other day. I think literally like the last 8 games has been a different start midfield, for example, apart from one. You know, it's a constantly ever-changing midfield. That doesn't help. It's unsettled. And then the back line is struggling with all the pressure. So, yeah, we've got a lot of problems. And lastly, we'll say that Tottenham let 3 left wingers leave the club in the summer. One being Son, who you will know, of course. And
do you know what, mate? I have to say, sorry to interrupt you.
What a player. What a player.
What a fucking player. He was the one player that I thought that was Jurgen Klopp signing.
Yeah. Wish that
Jurgen Klopp all over though, innit?
Yeah, lad. Yeah. He was the prime Jurgen Klopp signing, Arian.
Yeah.
Do you know what, mate? He was a cracking
He's
player.
like one of 3. He's one of 3 that we let go. We didn't sign one left winger. I can't even, if you just say that, you let 3 left wingers go and you don't replace him. So I think Frank's failed. I'm behind Frank. I get the frustration though.
Can I just, like, because obviously, like, I don't watch Tottenham too much, but I'll watch them here and there and that. But I get a decent idea of what Tottenham are about and that. But, like, for West Ham last season, Kudus, right?
Yes.
I would say that he was quite a left-sided player, especially against us. You remember that 2-1 at Anfield where Van Dijk gets the last minute? Kudus was very on the left. Whether he was a central player who drifted out to the left, kind of like what, you know, Wirtz would do or something, you know. But for me, Kudus seemed like a player who would be on the centre left-hand side of the pitch a fair bit. So would you not say, like, if, you know, in terms of you not, you know, signing any, you know, quote-unquote left wingers,
yeah,
would you say bringing in someone like Kudus and then not playing him there is a case of man management or just a case of the fact that he's just not that kind of player to begin with?
You're right to raise the question. So firstly, thank you. But what I would say is that we've been very reliant on Kudus, and that speaks volumes of how good he's been since we signed him. So you're right. I also think, though, he's hung out to dry a little bit on that left-hand side. I think West Ham looked at the priorities and went Bowen and maybe even Paquetá, but definitely Bowen, and then look, Kudus, you kind of cater on that left. Because whenever Bowen wasn't in the team, Kudus was always on that right-hand side, which told me you see him as a right winger, but it's only because Bowen's in the side. Fair enough, Bowen's aren't that. You know, he's a great captain. We saw just the other day, moments of quality. He's absolutely got that. So I get that. And Kudus wasn't quite as consistent. It's interesting because Ajax, he started over 50% of his minutes in that 10 role. At West Ham, he starts nearly 80% of his minutes at left wing. Then at Spurs, he started literally 100% of his minutes on the right. So we talk about versatility. But you're right. But what it is now is that we're just heavily reliant on Kudus. And it's funny, the conversation, how it shifted, my friend, because when Kudus come in, he was seen as someone that could just offer competition for Johnson. It'd be like, who's going to start? This was a genuine conversation. Now it's like, how are we going to cope if Kudus gets injured for whatever reason, which he has already, and we struggle to cope? And that just, for me, tells me that we haven't been good. We've had to run him a lot. But yeah, you're right. It could be that we play him on the left-hand side. It could be even better. Just because he didn't work out at West Ham. And I mean, not many things did work out, did they, last season at West Ham? Let's be honest with you. I don't think West Ham's issues last season is a Kudus problem or a position problem. I think there's a lot of problems upstairs with the manager on the formation. Well, yeah, it is. I think they'd be all right because of Nuno, but there's problems like deeper than the manager. You know, I think he has the right ideas and he'll give it his best shot. But you're right to raise it. But Kudus has been good for us. But the attack generally just hasn't been firing at all. Most of the goals have actually come for the likes of Van der Ven or Romero or Paulinho. That's no joke about it. That's where the goals are in the team.
Considering your front lads was Kane and Son, that's a big problem for Spurs, and they're going to struggle if you know. Do you know what it reminds me of, Adam? You know, Harry had a slide up on his show last night, right? It's the first slide you put up, Harry, and it was the gap in midfield. Adam will tell you now, Adam, half of our issues this season have been midfield positioning. Do you know, when you look at some of the pictures of our slides, defenders attack with a load of midfielders. Spurs have had the same issues this year. They've been just like us at times, all over the place, haven't they?
Like so far away from each other, I think.
That's what, you know, because that's what it was. Harry, there was a massive divide, weren't they?
Yeah, it was huge. Yeah,
like
huge gap.
You don't know if to press or sit back, and they call it mid-block now, don't they?
That's it, yeah. That's what Frank says. He said it himself today, mid to low block. That's what he calls it. You're absolutely right.
Load of bollocks. To that, it just means they're not pressing, they're being lazy to me, that. We've had the same problems, haven't we, where, like, they're so far away from our forwards, so our attacking play hasn't been actually that great, to be fair, this season. So maybe is that the problem with Tottenham this season as well.
Do you know what? Do you know what? Right, I think that, you know, both of these clubs were probably expected to do a lot better, Greg. And you know, in case Harry hasn't seen as much as us, obviously, because you know everyone focuses on their own clubs. Some of the issues of us at times this season as well, Greg, is putting the ball in the back of the net, which is crazy, given the fact of the players that we've got. You know what I mean? And like Harry's just said there, he's talked about problems with attack. So we've got to make sure that we take our chances tomorrow.
Yeah, no, of course. I think recently in the past few games, we've done a lot better job of, actually putting the ball into the goal. It's a weird one because I don't think this season we've actually been poor at creating chances. I'll use the United game as a reference. Like, obviously we lost 2-1, but if you're looking in terms of like the actual chances created that game, we created so many. Let's go back to Chelsea away again. Vert came on at half time or like the 50th or something, and then the amount of chances we had then. Salad blazed like 3 over the bar. I think Gakpo had a few. He's had a few shots in that. We were never bad. We've never been bad at creating chances. Our issue was always just getting the ball into the goal. I think our biggest worry going into this game tomorrow, for me anyway, is not the creating the chances. It's not even the scoring the goals. And for me, I don't even think it's the actual defending shape. For me, I think the issue lies where on the kind of I hate the word so much because everyone overuses it and uses it incorrectly. But it's all I think tomorrow our biggest issue will be on a transitional kind of kind of going from attacking to then having to defend straight away, because that's always how our problems have been this season. That's how a lot of our goals this season we've conceded from. I mean, Tottenham obviously don't have the same kind of threat going forwards.
Yeah, I'd say the same with them.
We always seem a bit jumbled. We don't know where to kind of be. I think our midfield as well. It's been a weird one this season because we know we've got a good midfield. They won the league last season. We know we've got a great midfield, and we know we've got great individual brilliance in that midfield. However, I always feel like there's a bit of a disconnect between the midfield and the attack, and the midfield and the defence. And I think that's something that we haven't really, smoothing the edges out just quite yet this season. And because of that, I think if Spurs find a way of managing to break fast, if they win the ball in the middle of the pitch, or even when we're on the attack, I think, as I said, if they manage to find the right passes at the right times, they'll be able to punish us because we won't really know. We won't really have any defensive shape. We won't really have any, anticipation of how we should defend. We won't really have that kind of instinct or that intuition to just get back in numbers and drown out their attack. Because as I said, when it comes down to just like the ball's just being played and we're out of possession, we've got a shape. We've got a shape there. All it takes though is one pass, that one like risky pass that someone just takes. You know what? Fuck it. Let me just play this pass, see how it works out. And if it works out, then usually against Liverpool, it's a goal against us.
That's been a big problem, though. It really has. And do you know what? Look, if you just join us, smash a like and subscribe. I can see everyone piling in. Harry, we've got a question from Mark for you. Do you know what? This is a player, lads, that I really liked. There was 3 players, number 10s, that Liverpool were looking at in the summer. Obviously, the prime one was Florian Wirtz for them. And Cherky and Xavi Simons. I think Xavi Simons is a cracking player, by the way. But Mark, one of our regulars who actually comes on the channel, he's having a few Guinnesses tonight, so he's having a night off. He said, it's a question for you, mate. Do you think Frank is struggling to get the best out of Xavi Simons?
Good question. Enjoy your Guinness, Mark, and good evening to you firstly.
He's got loads of them, lad.
Yeah, have a good one. Enjoy yourself. I hope you enjoy this as well. Try and give you a good answer. So, yeah, you asked a good question, and Xavi Simons that hasn't hit the kind of ground running. I think a lot of it I take away from the manager. I go, look, this is a problem where it takes time for people when they come to the Premier League. I think it's the physicality, number one, the highest point, but also the pace of the Premier League. And I do think, I'm not just saying this because I was in the same position or anything like that, but the similar situation you were experiencing with Wirtz is very, very similar to Simons, where they just do it in moments, in glimpses. You think, oh my God, look at that. And then you don't see it again for a little while, either in the game or again for a few games' time. And that's the shame. And Simons looked like he turned the corner. He had a really good week. I think Brentford, that was the one where he got a goal and assist. And then a man of the match. Well, 2 man of the match performances. The goal and assist come against Brentford. Nothing against Slavia Prague, but still man of the match performance. But then we see him at Forest. Non-existent, complete non-existent, which is a shame. So yeah, I think Frank has got to get a lot out of him, but I'd also say I don't think Frank has ever had a player like him. He's never really had a number 10. He had like a Mikhail Damsgaard, who I see as more of a central midfield, maybe more of an 8 that can step into a 10 if you get a tiny bit tactical. But like Maddison being injured for me, and I
Big loss that, mate. By the way,
I don't want to blame injuries because look, every club suffers them. I'm not an Arsenal fan, unfortunately. I say unfortunately, fortunately. I'm not going to blame everything else. I'm not going to blame the weather, the ball, the whatever.
The fucking ball.
A classic, honestly. I'm not just saying it's Arsenal. Come on, Arteta's a perfect fit as well for Arsenal and their fans, by the way. But no, Maddison being literally, I call him Lego head or little big man. But sorry, with Maddison, I just think that he's what Frank had with Damsgaard at Brentford. They just play football a similar way in my eyes. Again, I could be putting 2 and 2 together. The point is he needs to get more out of Xavi Simons. And to be honest with you, you're not going to get up to the pace of the Premier League, the physicality. You're not going to get used to playing under a new manager, new teammates, new country, new language, whatever, if you don't play football. And that is what fans' argument is. And they know a lot more than us. Frank knows a lot more than us. But the argument is, do you play him more? But also, you don't want to just force him in there because he's Xavi Simons, because he scored this important goal and because he's a great player. So you've got to get that balance of. And I said it even with someone like Kane, which is very rare, or anyone. If you're not performing, you don't get in the team, no matter the name. But at the same time, you're not going to get better if you don't play. So you've got to balance that. But he's not getting the best out of him now, no. And Frank does need to, step up to the table and improve Tottenham. I've got the patience to back him. I'm not maybe like the rest of my generation where I call it the win now generation. And I can say it because it is literally my own. But I think we just need to give him time. But he needs to get the best out of Xavi Simons. That will elevate his chances to stay in for longer.
Harry, it's a shame with our fan base, you see the dickheads online and people have got no patience in footy, mate. It's as simple as that. They expect...
I don't know why.
Mate, do you know what it is? Like, our biggest problem is, like, I had a tweet out there saying, because fucking Cherky scores a goal, everyone's turns against fucking Verts online, which is ridiculous.
And that was so confusing, not me.
Honest to God, you get dickheads online going, well, he is shit. And some of them have got Liverpool badges in the fucking pictures online.
They say the same with Isak. I know he hasn't hit the ground running, but he's a great player. And when he gets going, I think he could be up here.
He will.
Exactly. Yeah.
That is the way we live. And now everyone wants stuff right now. That's that. Everyone wants a new shiny
patience, zero patience, and Adam. Do you know when you hear about like Harry there talking about like Frank with Xavi Simons? It's been like that with Arne Slot, with Florian Wirtz. It's a little carbon copies. There's similar traits with both clubs this season, whereby certain things just haven't gone right, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd argue though it's more the number 10 thing though as well. People don't really play with a number 10 these days, and
this is a problem. And you got to get used to it. It's a difficult role to fit in the team because of these formations that the clubs use now.
Yeah. I always
strikers hit the ground running more. Strikers have come in and like boom, Voldemort, Haaland, for example. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I do think that like with a number 10, when Harry was saying that bit of a moments player, Xavi Simons at the minute. I think a number 10 is that though as well. They do drift in and out of games, but that's where they win games for then. The number 10.
But they're the door opener, aren't they?
Exactly. And that's where we were open. Vert is going to be that. Which, in a way, he's created a lot of chances for Liverpool, but just our strikers haven't took the chances.
I think, and so though, look, and we're not crazy for saying that PSG game in Anfield affected on the same way, like.
Oh, his head's gone from that.
Yeah. It's the same way as like, when you're in school and that, yeah. And you were just like you had this one teacher you just loved, right? And then you had that one lesson where they just shouted at you and you didn't know, your head was just gone because like, nah, this has never happened before. Like what? Like you were proper
every class is like that.
I think that's what PSG was. And I think that's the whole reason why we signed Vert, because we needed a player that could just have a moment of magic and win a game.
Yeah.
Or create a chance that would win a game. And to be fair, right, I feel like I've been one of the Vert's biggest defenders all season. I don't see what he's doing differently now to what he was doing when he first started to play. I don't know if that's just me, but I think he's not done anything. I think he's not been any better or any worse now than what he was when he first, minus the first like 2 or 3. I think like he was not any worse then than what he is now. I think he's been at the same good level.
The slander that he's had,
that Liverpool has been crap.
Yeah, he's improved and he has improved in ways though as well.
I think he's definitely bulked up.
Yeah, he's riding them tackles now as well, which are like at the start he was getting shrugged off, and I was thinking, is he a bit weak here, isn't he? But he's been doing that quite a lot lately, where he's going in between players and using a bit of strength. So I think that he's improving and getting used to the league a lot.
I agree. I think. Do you know what? Do you know when you look at these number 10s as well? Cherky, Xavi Simons, and Florian Wirtz, they're all the same fucking build. They're all little 2-foot fellas. Do you know what I mean? And this is the thing. They're so agile. They're so low to the ground. And all three of them players are so good at turning on the ball. But they've come into. All three of these players have come into a league that's probably the worst for a number 10 now, because you've got big, horrible defenders who are trying to snap the legs off them. So obviously, Xavi Simons will take time. Cherky right now is playing in a team that's in form. And do you know what? If he came into Liverpool or Spurs right now, no way his numbers would be the same as he's got at City. Do you know what I mean? Because both of our clubs have been fucking losing games more frequent. Do you know what I mean? But put fucking Xavi Simons in City or Florian Wirtz in City, they probably have better numbers than they have now. Do you know what I mean? And Haaland's been fucking scoring goals. This is what I mean. When the top goal scorers in the team,
you can't blame a player. You can't blame a player for not getting assists. You can only blame the striker for not scoring.
Exactly.
26 chances he's created for us, Florian Wirtz.
And not one's fucking got in.
What a stat that is.
The fucking goal must be about that big. Greg, can I go question here? I want you to go for it, and then I'm going to go back around to Harry. Liverpool tomorrow. Do they start on the front foot at the Lane?
It's a bit of a weird one, that, isn't it? I feel like that the question's kind of got a few layers to it, if you get what I'm saying. Because obviously we've got no Salah. We've got no Salah, so that automatically means that and no Gakpo either. So that automatically means that the front three in terms of attack is different, or the attack of setup is different. Do you just start with two out-and-out strikers and Ekitike and Isak, and then play a diamond behind them? Or do you try and fit Kaiser on there to play on the wide position? What do you do? However, I'm going to just make it easy, right? We're a football club that are going to an away game, right? We're the biggest club in the country. We need 3 points. I don't see why we don't just go there minute one and just start clattering heads. Do you know what I mean? Just go there and just say, look, we're here to win. And just stamp authority. Because with Liverpool, we shouldn't forget that, by the way. We are Liverpool Football Club. We won the Premier League last season. We should be walking into gaffs saying, we fucking own you. We're heavy. We should be.
Confidence has been low, though, Greg, isn't it? And, it's very difficult. And do you know what? I was saying it to Harry yesterday. I'm quietly confident, and we'll go into, what we think scorelines will be. Because, Harry, I'm going to bring this to you now. Because, obviously, for Liverpool right now, I think, I don't know whether the boys will agree, and I'll get more on them in a second, but I think for Liverpool's game plan may be sit in the game and let you start coming at us. I think if Spurs open up too much, that's where Liverpool are going to start picking Spurs off. But are you expecting your lads to come at Liverpool out of the traps? Because I think you have got to force a goal quite quick, Spurs.
Can I just add to this, Harry, though, as well? That question of, I think obviously we're seeing Vicario, what he did against Forest as well, that pass into your midfielder. And I think that Frank will go long against us tomorrow. So when we're trying to press, he'll miss out our press.
Just go over.
And that's where I don't think we're going to press you tomorrow.
We're going to sit off, I think.
So whatever. You carry on, Harry.
You can tell I'm busting it, I was just so glad you mentioned that, because I'm just about to say, do you guys think that, it'd be sensible to go long? I think Frank will go long, which he'd done in one game before. I can't remember what it was, which is really annoying me, but it didn't work. I know that, whatever game it was, might have been an Arsenal or a Chelsea, but it tells you how it's going to go, doesn't it, already? But the point is, against Forest, right, this was shocking, right? Again, a stat, and I don't like using too many stats, but something like 39% of Spurs' total passes went straight out of play. I mean, that for me is a little bit concerning at this level. Is a concern, right? It is concerning, and I know he didn't put too many passes together.
Especially but even so Premier League side, the ball
and it's not even 39% passes are misplaced. It's not that. It's 39% have gone out of play. That's really bad. If you just think about that for a minute, you think, hang on a minute, this is proper poor. And
who the fuck would be aiming at?
Exactly.
But that's the commentary line. Did you see someone in the crowd, maybe?
See something, no, yeah, exactly that. But no, it's concerning because he would like that a few years ago. Transitional periods from Nuno to Mourinho to Conte. In between, it was this woeful passing. I haven't seen that for a while, and it's just come in the last couple of games. It was really, really bad against Forest. And I'm glad I missed most of the game. But no, you're right to say, and Spurs this season has typically sat back. And you're right, by the way, about Liverpool. You've got to go to stadiums, take control, dominate possession, dominate the game. There are real similarities, but there are also some quite big differences between both clubs this season, right? The difference is you create the chances. I'm glad you've said it. You don't finish them. We don't even create the chances. Very, very few. Arsenal, 2 shots, 0 on target. Chelsea, 3 shots, 1 on target.
That Arsenal game, Harry, I thought was one of the worst Spurs performances.
Awful.
Against Arsenal.
Yeah, absolutely. But Forest, right, not a shot on target. They're 17th, right? And they have turned a corner under Nuno, but not a shot on target. That's really concerning.
Well for Thomas Frank.
Yeah. It's so concerning, and they just look at stats. And again, I keep using stats, but I believe using your own eyes, and your own eyes tell you the same thing, that we aren't doing good enough. So for me, I just want to see us go a bit bolder. Stop playing Bentancur and Paulini together. He stopped doing that a little bit more recently, and just because I take the handbrake off a little bit. What it is Frank's got these injuries, and I think he's looked at us last year, right? We played you guys, perfect example of that. The amount of goals we used to concede under Ange. It was crazy, and it was quite funny if you're another fan of another club. But the reality is it's not sustainable, right? Whether you like it or not, whether Ange is sustainable or not, I'll leave it up to you. But the style of play defensively certainly wasn't. And Frank looked at that, and we kept a lot of clean sheets to start with, but so did all managers like Nuno. And that's the thing, because we've been an experience of Nuno where, it started good, clean sheets, then we lost 3-4 games in a row, went downhill. A lot of fans are lazy and just go, yeah, it's very like that. I think give Frank the time and give him the tools. And I think a lot of problems come from upstairs, because you're hearing from upstairs that we want to win the Premier League and Champions League. And although I criticise the fan base a lot, it's difficult for them who are looking at it going, oh, come on, then let's get behind something. And then we're losing 3-0 to Forest and slumped to 11th. All of a sudden we're looking behind us instead of ahead. I get why they're concerned. So for me, with Liverpool, I think if you get it right, that could be key. You've definitely got to take your chances. I fear players like Etatike. I just want to add in there that Szoboszlai's really impressed me last year. I mean, I think he's what you had in Gravenberch last year. I think Gravenberch was so key for you last year. Szoboszlai's taken his turn. Gravenberch's still key, but Szoboszlai's the one for me this year.
And Liverpool have been shit this year.
Yeah, and you mentioned it, didn't you, on my podcast yesterday? I think you're spot on. But I worry what Spurs will do. Frank is definitely one for tactical masterclass. And again, I hate to use a rival in West Ham, but it's very similar, right? You've got Nuno and Frank, 2 managers that come with this game plan that either nearly works or does work. And it's really clever and well thought out. Like West Ham to score early and press Villa from the start. A load of things they've done were really smart, and they put a real game to Villa. But in the end, sometimes the mentality and feel around the club of individual errors will come to cost you. And I just think right now with Tottenham, there's no confidence going into this game. And Frank hinted as well that not everyone, he said people have bought into it, but he wouldn't fully commit, that everyone had bought into his idea and bought into him as a manager. Things like that concern you a little bit, even if it is taken out of context. So I don't know what's the best way for Tottenham to approach it, but he's saying to me playing the air, Van Dijk wins a lot of those. So I'm really not sure it's going to be tough.
It is. It's tough for, any forward, especially when the goalkeepers are booting it up to them. Van Dijk tends to win 95% of the headers. But look, if you just join us, smash a like and subscribe. Harry, before I go to Adam, because I'm going to start getting some details with teams and stuff, and obviously I'll go around what we think our team will be, and then I'll get the details off you. Mark's got a question for you. He says, Harry, I've been surprised with the amount of quality and attack you've had. You've had games where you had no shots on goal, never mind on target. Do you think you need more in attack?
I'll just say right now in terms of fit, and I understand that how you may look at it, but I think we have one of the worst attacks in the league, and I'm just saying that, right? Kudus is great, but Richarlison, right? I know, yeah. This is my own club here. But look, listen. I just say that's the thing, and often I'm unpopular, and get cut off by channels. I'll be honest with you.
But you know what, though? You've got to be honest about it.
Well,
you can't sugarcoat shit.
I don't lie. Yeah, like no one watches TikTok, for example. Because I just, A, I say how it is, and B, I'm not going to, shout the screen and shout and ball. I just go, actually, no, I'm not happy with that. Or, wait, I'm going to be a bit balanced about that. But the point is, I think the attack's been poor. Yeah, we've got Richarlison, Odobert. It's just not all that for me. They don't get into any other top 6 club. Kudus maybe, but not the rest. If everyone's fit, Mark makes a decent point. You've got Kulusevski in there, Solanke and Moani, a few options. But the reality is we've got Moani, who has had a good career, but nobody really wanted him. It was a battle of who didn't want him in the end, and which is a shame for him. We took him off of PSG. It seemed like we were doing them a favour in the end, and they actually were the ones apparently forcing us back to take him. So it's a weird situation. Richarlison, of course, I know former toffee, and he will be up for this game, to be fair. But he's one of those players that he does nothing in the game. And that his stats are mind-blowing, like 17 goals in 25 or 26 games. That's really good for someone like Richarlison. But he just don't notice it because he has 1 or 2 touches in the game. Forrest, by the way, he had 3 touches. So when I talk about problems in attack, the 3 touches. How are you going to score or influence a game? This is magic.
That's Carland.
So, Mark, I thank you for his question, but we don't. Guinness has got to be. Yeah, there you go. I was going to say that we haven't got a good attack, but in January, you're right. We do need more in attack. Absolutely, I think left wing has got to be key. We put all our eggs in one basket lastly for Savinha, and it didn't work. And then we've done exactly the same in a different position. Then we done it. Yeah, definitely. We just throw everything out of play, and we're doing it now with Semenya. We heard it for Romano today, black and white. He's not interested, right? Don't blame him, right? I put it how it is in the Spurs time, but don't blame him, right? We're awful.
As he said,
yeah. Well,
I'm fucking watching now.
yeah.
I'm not going to them. They sound like wolves.
Yeah. God, it's not that dire, but he's turned us down before the windows, started. Yeah. That tells you need to know, right? It's fine. It doesn't work. Eze as well. We threw all our players into someone that's.
That was a big kick in the teeth for Spurs. That
it is, but I blame the club. You've got to be bold around. You can't just sit here. Like we offered him something, then sat 2 weeks on it. Apparently,
you can't do that.
You can't do that.
He then just sat there waiting for fucking Arsenal, didn't he?
It's all a game. I believe, from upstairs of Palace. I think they wanted more money. They knew Arsenal would pay it. He's got a higher wage, club supports, bigger money. But the point is, for Tottenham, we need to do more. And you can't be upstairs saying all these things. And we want to win this, we want to do that, we believe in this, we believe in that. And it comes to the window and go, no, we're going to go in a flat line and go nowhere. So we need a lot more.
It is. It's strange, that, mate. And I always felt that was a big blow for Spurs. And it made Thomas Frank have to be put under pressure, under the spotlight. It reminded me a bit, Adam, with the Casado thing with Jurgen Klopp, because he fucking didn't like that. Do you know what I mean? But just coming on to the game tomorrow, Adam, injury-wise, where do you think we're at?
We're all right, aren't we?
Yeah, it seems to have picked up. What are you kind of expecting from tomorrow? Yeah, just before you're giving what you potentially think the lineup will be.
Yeah.
Well, how do you think we will start? I think Liverpool will sit in there, and wait for their mistakes.
Yeah, I do. I think we'll see what's happening in the first 5 minutes. And like I said, I think Frank will go long. I think tomorrow, 100%. But he used to do it at Brentford a lot against us, and he had some luck against us as well. And
sorry, Andy, lad. These things glitch. I thought you stopped speaking there. Sorry. Can I just add to that and just say I almost feel like Liverpool will be forced to play on the front foot in this game, not by their own choice, not because they're just the better team, but I think it's just the kind of mentality Spurs are going into it. I think Liverpool are going into it to win, and I think Spurs are going into it just to not lose. And I think because of that, I'm just going off basically everything that Harry's just said. Then I'm just thinking to myself, look, if a team's going into a game to not lose, by default now Liverpool are the team that will be on the front foot. Because the team that don't want to lose, don't want to attack, because they don't want to expose themselves and then concede. So what they'll do is obviously just do the usual kind of let them have the ball, kind of, we'll pounce on their mistakes, But something that Liverpool was so good at last season, not this season, is we'd force them to make mistakes. We'd force the opposition to make mistakes, whether that was a player pressing, making a player press and leaving a space in behind for whoever it was, Diaz, Salah, Jota, Nunes to run in behind. Whether it was that or, forcing the team to kind of shift to one side and then leaving Salah out wide by himself or Diaz out, Gakpo out wide by himself. We force teams to get a bit unnervy. A bit impatient, which caused them to make a mistake, and we pounced on that when we had the ball. This season, we don't seem to have that kind of I use this word a lot. We don't have that kind of anticipation with our forward play. We don't, and I think obviously that's a negative for our game. But I feel like in a game in which we are almost forced to play on the front foot, we really need to channel that kind of anticipation, that kind of making them make mistakes. Don't wait for them to make the mistakes. Make them make mistakes. And, again, Tottenham players this season have shown that they are prone to mistakes, but so have our players. Yeah. So it's just a case of, making sure that we are the ones that capitalise on the errors when they are made, and not the other way around.
Yeah. I think that's going to come down to what formation and personnel we played out tomorrow.
Lads, I'm laughing, actually. I think Gary thinks the manager's pulling fucking names out of a lucky dip. Kaiser and fucking Rio, lads. Come on now.
Come on, Harry, I think Harry.
It's not April Fool's. It's not April Fool's, surely.
We're trying to fucking win. You know what I mean? I love Gary's comments. He cracks me up.
I say, Ben, how we're gonna attack the game or then sit back or whatever. It's how we set up. If we play 2 up front with Isak and Ekatike, we will do what Greg's saying.
Yeah.
We'll go after them, and like you say, we'll most probably turn them over. To be fair, if we have 2 up front.
What I think, Adam, I think do you know? I think Spurs. You know, Harry can correct me, but I think Spurs are a nervous team at the minute because we've been a nervous team, Harry. Do you know what I mean? Recently, we have been. There's been a lot of shit going on, and you can smell it off the team. They've been a bit, you know, you can see players that are usually confident, not wanting to be early on the ball. You can tell when players are nervous, they take an extra touch, and we've certainly done that. And I feel like you have probably been the same. I'm sure you'd probably agree. But Adam, I think Liverpool tomorrow will want Spurs to be playing that ball round of their back four. Because you know what? If I'm a Spurs defender and I'm looking forward and I see Ekatike, Isak, and Florian Wirtz, I'll be shitting myself tomorrow.
Yeah, that's why I'll be doing that tactic Harry said, just kicking it out. Just do that.
He'll go from 30 to fucking 100.
Just get it away.
Yeah,
definitely. If they're seeing them, then to see where, as you say, where they panic at the back, give it to that keeper all day for me.
Yeah.
Give him the ball.
Maybe practicing against Forest, we're putting the balls out of play. Maybe that's a little drill.
Yeah. But I think that means, definitely.
That's it. Greg, LB saying, why have we got a Watford fan on?
Oh, lad, this LB, lad.
I knew he'd pop up, lads. I seen the retweet and I thought he's coming in.
It's from Venice, lad. Got to fit into the way.
Yeah,
it's Venice. It's Venezia or whatever. I think whatever they call themselves, Venezia. Actually,
look at his fucking username. He's up and on good.
Agree with that comment. That Kudus is definitely the definitely
Do you know what? Do you know what, Harry? This player in particular, Kudos, he's always had good games against Liverpool.
Yeah, all the time.
So I think he's got to be your focal point. Do you know, Harry? Tomorrow, look, it's hard for us to understand what the formation will be. As I said to you yesterday, I haven't really watched Spurs much. Watched a few games, but not all of them. Injury-wise, I think people could expect, obviously, Dragason's at his ACL. He's much further down the line from James Maddison. I know that because I've been watching James Maddison's YouTube channel, like I told you. So
They've been good, to be fair.
I've got the inside knowledge. No, but obviously Maddison's out. Solanke's another one. What do you think Spurs go with tomorrow, team-wise?
God knows. I think we need to, bring something different. I tell you, maybe the under-21s. But no, I think we need to to go about things in a bit better manner. We need to be a little bit clever. We need to create more chances. You cannot score goals. It's as simple as that. If you do not create chances, that's the thing. And Greg said it there, absolutely spot on. We play not to lose, and that is okay against heavyweights. And you are definitely a heavyweight. It's not okay when we go to Wolves at home. And listen, we drew that game. I think it was 1-1 in the end. I want to say 1-1. Yeah, 1-1. Guess what? We had one shot on target. It wasn't the goal. It wasn't the goal at all from Paulini. Actually, I'll tell you what, it was the goal. It was a goal just from Paulini. That was the only shot on target in the 91st minute, right? This is Wolves. We're giving them 50% of our points total. I wouldn't be too worried about Tottenham tomorrow, if I'm honest with you, unless something drastically improves, right? And I'm behind purely based on what I've seen prior to Tottenham. It's purely based on the fact that we go through managers as quick as Watford and quicker than Chelsea, which is concerning, really concerning. And I don't get where it comes from. We've not got a rich history of recent years of trophies at all, so I don't get the entitlement. But it's a whole different, whole different kettle of fish. But no, the point is for Tottenham, I'm really concerned, if I'm honest with you, in this game. And I don't know what is necessary to expect Frank to do, because he's one of those managers that's really difficult to predict. It's something different every game, which is fine, but then he doesn't keep that consistency. These players dominate horribly, but I don't think sometimes they're all the smartest, because they clearly can't cope with the change from Ange. And I thought Frank would be the right manager in my head to go for.
I thought he'd have been a great fit for Spurs, Harry.
It's attacking football, but stability. But the problem is, Frank's
what I thought he'd be his biggest positive for you guys is the fact that I thought the players would have really liked playing for him.
Absolutely. I mean, I like it as a fan. I like the idea of it, I should say. But maybe it's I mean, is it that big of a step up? It is a step up, but I don't really want to say it's that. I think Frank's got it in him. I think it's sad to see Spurs fans look down on what Frank's achieved because he took Brentford a long, long way.
I think Thomas Frank,
incredible job.
Yesterday, when I've seen him at Anfield close up, he's been brilliant with Brentford.
I think he still can be.
Yeah, it is a step up though with expectation. That's all it is.
I agree because I think Thomas Frank, right? Do you know, if he was at Brentford for maybe just this one more season, like this next season, and then went to like Tottenham, say next, like, you know, the following season, I think it would have been perfect. I think it's a case of the right person at the wrong time.
That trophy win has been the worst thing for Frank, hasn't it?
It has. It absolutely has. And it's a great thing to be there. But I said to my dad on the day, I said, you know, things are only going to get worse now. There's going to be this expectation to do this every year. I said, it doesn't come from me, but I say it will come from other people. And that's the problem ultimately you face. But lastly, I will just say as well that the problem is Frank said against Forest, his words were something like, we're going to come flying out the box. We're going to attack. We can show what we can do. And then when I tell you guys that we had one shot on target and like 3 or 4 shots, that's the thing that what he's saying is not happening on the pitch. Then he's behind his. It's very weird, the situation. A lot of Spurs managers, Conte was one that used to say, "This is my belief. This is how we should play." Then it just wouldn't happen. So the player's not listening. These are different set of players. But what is going on? It's a bit concerning because Frank's not stupid, right? He's a really clever guy, and he's a big game manager, right? Brentford, he proved that. Fans won't have it because we lost to Arsenal and Chelsea. They're stuck in their ways. They're just focused on those 2 games. But beyond that, he's a big game manager.
To Arsenal now, the way they
set up the game. But my point is, there's more.
This season.
He did beat City.
Yeah, I'm going through Tottenham's fixtures now. That's why my screen looks a bit mad. So obviously you started off against Burnley with a 3-0 win, go to the Etihad and win 2-0, and then go back home to Bournemouth and lose 1-0.
Your home form is different, isn't it? So, yeah, it's like up and down, isn't it? Your away form is better than your home form.
We've got worse home form than West Ham, and they can't win for toffee at home. It's really bad. It's 3 or 4 wins at home.
Yeah,
that's it. So. And 3. I think you're right, mate. 2 this year. 2, this season so far. I think 3 or 4 in 2025 is concerning. Really good. And away's good. But to be fair, I'd rather it this way because Spurs over the years, whenever we go to NS Mora, an Antwerp, or a Dinamo Zagreb, a common one under Mourinho, and get not just beat but hammered on the away from home. So if you Spurs went away, I'd just go sod that. I would watch it, but I go, what's going to happen. Whereas it used to be different at home. Now it's flipped on its head. I know that's the thing. Fans are judging Frank because they go, look, every time we turn up, it's not a good result. But Frank's been unfairly judged because of the recent success of the team last season and because we've been more defensive.
I know, isn't it?
Exactly, but if you just think if you go to a nice restaurant, let's say, and they haven't got the best things, then they can't. You can't produce your best, can you? You're going to have to work with what you've got, literally. And that's what I think he's doing right now. And it's not great. We should be doing better than 11th, even with players injured. Absolutely. And it's not an excuse, but maybe sometimes a little bit of an explanation to give a manager longer. Not an excuse. Again, not Arsenal. You just need to give him a little bit of time and back in. He at least needs more than 1 window. That's what I say to fans. You really think 4 months or 1 window. What gives you that entitlement? I mean, you're allowed your opinion, but people are like, he's a poison. He's not a poison. I'm not.
I don't believe that.
Do you think, when you're saying about entitlement and stuff like that, do you think it is because Arsenal are doing so well? That,
yes, it's jealousy. It's absolutely jealousy.
It's a lot like Everton. Everton were so impatient with their managers over the past seasons. We do well. And I think it's a little bit like that maybe with Spurs at the minute.
You're right, but you've got a problem with your own club if you're focusing on your rival that much. In my eyes, I don't like to see Arsenal where they are. Right. But in the end, I just think, right, they could and probably will win the title. It could be the same situation in the Champions League. Let's focus on how we can eventually, improve to them. But fans constantly, even I have this conversation with my dad. Oh, we're so many points away from Arsenal. And I was focusing on where we are compared to the top 4 or top 6. I know it's where we want to be. It's not the fact that fans want to get there. If it was about getting there, I get that. You want to close the gap to Arsenal. It's not. It's they believe that we can finish above Arsenal this year. My dad's like, oh yeah, we're at the point of Arsenal now. I said, yeah, but we're going to kiss them goodbye, very soon, unfortunately. They're levels above, they're years above with the stadium and with a load of different things. They spend differently as well. And that's the thing. Lastly, I do believe the owners look at it and go, why aren't we winning the league? Why aren't we fighting? And they think that in their heads, they obviously think they do enough in the window. But we don't. We don't pay the wages. We've got a wage structure above a mid-table club, and it just, wages is a big thing because football is about money, unfortunately, now more than ever.
Well, this is the way it's gone, Ali. The big wages is what they want, isn't it?
I promise you, Romero, if you don't offer Romero the captaincy armband, he walks because of the money. But because he's been given the armband a little bit more money, he's been convinced. But you can't retain your best players. That's the thing. Tottenham's a stepping stone, but how do you change that? And I don't think you can with these owners.
To be fair, you brought up a good point there, but I want to go back to entitlements or whatever, right? Would you say that maybe Spurs fans as a whole, obviously massive generalisation, not trying to group every single Spurs fan into one here, but would you say that this sense of entitlement has kind of grew since winning the Europa League?
It's grown, firstly, since reaching the Champions League final. That's where it's massive because there was this jump on the bandwagon when I first started following football of getting Pochettino out of the club instantly.
What happened in the final?
Sorry, my headphones disconnected. Sorry, I missed that. I could hear you. No, you're right. And it was horrible. And do you know what? It was one of my not first games. It was one of the earliest memories as well. Certainly not a good one. I remember this. Funny enough, I don't know why. I seem to remember the semi-final more. I honestly can't put a finger on why. I wonder why I can't remember this one. But no, to answer your question,
I just have to say one thing though. That's one of the biggest mistakes Spurs ever did was getting him out of that club.
Yeah,
it just doesn't make sense, and that's idiotic.
He was
reactionary.
He's the best manager I've seen at Spurs in a long time.
Can I also just say something, just to add to that point?
Yeah, absolutely.
They sacked Mourinho a week before the final. The fella who notoriously wins finals, by the way.
Yeah.
The fella has barely lost a final in his managerial career, by the way, and they sacked him a week before.
It's not spoken about enough. It really isn't. But I'm going to go around and try and answer all your things there. Yeah, absolutely. And with Pochettino, firstly, again, that's the whole entitlement thing. It's completely wrong, right? Yeah. The players put a lot into that campaign. And then we had the World Cup, I believe, after. So someone like Trippier didn't stop, for example. Come back, couple of bad performances, right? It was, let's get him out. And the fans forced him out. That's fan power. Unfortunately, forced the likes of Trippier out the club. And it's awful to say. And it was just that pressure. And the owners, I diss a lot, right? But they do sometimes listen to the fans, and they listen to them with Pochettino, because in the end, fans got impatient that they were like, look, you've got to improve season on season. We're going backwards. We're not going to get this, not going to get that. But it was November the club made the decision. Very similar, well, even similar to now with Frank. Why do you make a decision that early? For me, I mean, I don't, unless I'm ridiculously out of touch, I always think, get Christmas out of the way. If you've got the problem in the new year, then okay, let's have some discussions. I don't think you do that. It got teething problems at that point. And we still had players that got injured, by the way, in the World Cup. They never got a chance to come back. That's just, I can't get my head around that. Honestly, I can't. I thought Pochettino would have the season. If you reach a Champions League final for someone like Tottenham, and you have a season, let's say you finish 11th randomly under Pochettino, I think it would have been higher. Then you go, okay, maybe it's time to move on now. But why do you make the decision straight away? It's entitlement. You achieve something, and then leave you think, oh, Mourinho and Conte. I was like, oh, okay, let's try and win something. Let's build off that. But actually, we went backwards because you realise you're overachieving and had your Asian squad. But you're right with Mourinho. That's not spoken about enough. Rumour going, and Daniel Levy is all about money for those who don't know. Rumour is he saved him money, sacking him before the final because he won a trophy, he'd have to give him a payout, etc., and have to give him a 1-year extension or something like that. So it's crazy. And if I'm honest with you, I think the dressing room had been lost and the fans had been lost by that point. But you still give him that final. But it's not just that. It's the fact that you sat Mourinho and who's coming in instead, right? And I don't want to disrespect him too much because he played for the club, but Ryan Mason up against Pep Guardiola. Listen, what's that about? You're not going to stand a chance, right? He's not doing a fantastic job at West Brom, right? And he could be a really good manager. Not now. It's just completely the wrong thing to do. It's not even you're bringing in a new manager and it's their first game. It's someone that's a caretaker manager who had one training session before that final. And we just bizarre. We just sat back. We had no shots on at all, no shots at goal, and then conceded a corner at the death, which had been the pressure all the game. And then we just no chance to get back in that after that. And it was a horrible final because it was all City all the way through, and we knew that we were going to concede. It's just a matter of would it be now, would it be later, would it be extra time, etc. But no, you're right, and there is a level of entitlement. It doesn't go down well on the fan base, but it's all about how it used to be played. I know the club's motto is to dare is to do, but in my eyes, I view it as never give up. But they view it as you have to play a certain way. If you don't have so much possession, you don't attack. Well, sorry, but I know Andrew represented the club. It's not sustainable. It's laughable. I'm not 6 goals every game. Football's a results-based business, and Frank is the guy to do that. I know he's not proven that at the moment. I think he will.
And mate, we've probably played like an anside at times this season.
How many goals did you score last year? 6 goals, 7 goals in that game.
It's not that lad. We've conceded fucking loads of goals.
You You can see the free though, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's him.
The problem with Ange is constantly conceding goals, and he kept getting talked about in the press, which they obviously highlighted to him. You know how high you were up the pitch. We've had the same problem this year.
That Chelsea game when you had 9 men was hilarious.
Just here we are, mate.
Mate. Be serious.
We've played like that this year, Harry. We've been so wide open. It's very un-Liverpool like, and that's.
Are you fitting too many attacking players into one system though? Like, I know you've had mate change right back, for example, so Bosley right back. I just feel like you're trying to fit all your best kind of gems into a team.
Put them all in to find
it never works. It never works. Sometimes you have to have a good bench to impact a game, and you're trying to fit everyone in and costing the team.
The problem.
I think, but I don't know.
No, you're right.
This is the problem. Adam, team-wise, what do you think he goes with tomorrow? Because I'm going through the teams and then I'm going prediction.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay. I've actually changed my mind on it, to be honest, Ben. I was thinking that he was going to go Isak and Ekatike, but I think he's just going to go same team as Szoboszlai's going to play. Because I've seen training videos before and Szoboszlai was training and looked absolutely fine.
Did he?
So I was like, I think he's just going to go same team, mate.
Greg?
Bradley, right back.
Bradley right back. Would you agree with that?
Minus Gomez, minus Bradley.
We're saying Alisson in goal. Bradley, Canate, Virgil, Kirkhead. And what would you say midfield then? Give it to the panel.
Greg or me?
Both.
Oh, good. It's just I just all the midfield lads. Maka, Gravenberch, Jones, and then Wirtz on the left, Szoboszlai on the right, and then Ekatike up front.
Yeah.
That's right.
You don't think Isak starts?
I don't think Isak's going to start. No,
really?
No. I think he will.
I don't think our win percentage this season has been good when Isak started in the league. You know, I don't even know if there's one win when Isak started in the league this season, or there might only be one win.
Yeah, maybe.
I have a feeling that Szoboszlai's on the bench.
Yeah, that's the change in it. Szoboszlai for Isak or Szoboszlai. That's the thing. But I think he's got to pack the midfield against tomorrow. So
you're thinking of the four midfielders, Wirtz and okay. Well, that's an interesting. Liverpool. You'd be expecting them not to give the ball away as much. I'd be open for a lot of control. If that's the case, Liverpool need to go all out at Spurs then, because I'd imagine the pressing will be very strong if the midfield's right behind Wirtz and Ekatike.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what's going to be interesting to see if Frimpong gets minutes.
Yeah.
Nah, it's too early. He might come on like 20.
That's what I'm saying. Not to start, Greg. I'm saying coming in.
Yeah.
He's got to, and I'm looking forward to. Greg, where are you at with Frimpong? Because do you know what? I think he's been slandered a bit over the top.
You know what, right? This might come across as a controversial opinion because we've not seen much of Frimpong, right? I think Kirkes and Frimpong are two very similar players in the fact that they're so direct, they're so quick. They know where the attacking play is. They know what to do going forward. And, defensively, whatever it is, I do think when Frimpong and Bradley are both 100% fit, I think for the system that Slot was quite clearly trying to implement when we won our 5 games at the start of the season. Frimpong's the man. I really do think so. And I think Bradley's the kind of player you bring on after 60 or 65 to kind of just get a few fresh legs on the pitch and just clatter into some heads. And just to kind of it's one of them where like you go up, you 2-0 up or something, you bring on Bradley, and now you make sure that whoever's playing on that left wing just gets it. Yeah. Do you get what I'm saying? And I think that's what we're kind of going for. It's going to be really interesting for me if the manager, when they're all up to speed, if he plays Kirkes and Frimpong, because I don't think he can. I think you've got to have one have a bit more reserved than the other guys. That's also what I'm thinking on the other side of my head.
You get what I mean? If Gomez is there, let Kirkes go, or if Robbo's there, Frimpong can go.
Yeah, because that's what I'm saying. Because if you put both of them, you know that you can't tell Frimpong to hold when Kirkes is there, because Frimpong will be so much better if he's just up. But now you're only defending with 2 players, unless you get Gravenberch to kind of act as a holder.
That's
and then you've got 2 defenders and a very deep line midfielder, but then there's a gap in between the midfield.
Both fullbacks have been pushing right up though, and then Jones has been dropping into a 3, and Gravenberch has been offering as well. And then we've got Wirtz and Maka a little bit further forward on the halfway line, and the fullbacks are offering width. So he's actually Jones and Gravenberch are basically acting like a fullback, really, but taking the ball off the centre halves. That's how it's been working the past 2 games that I've noticed. But I think it'll work better with a Frimpong because he's obviously high up. And I've noticed Gomez been getting a lot of the ball, and his crossing it obviously isn't the best. So I think it'll work a lot with Frimpong and Kerkers.
I also think with the crossing thing as well. With Kerkers and Frimpong, you're not playing. Well, with Kerkers more than Frimpong, right? You're not playing to get the ball out wide and cross it in. No, you're playing so the wing backs or like the full backs, they run in and cause carnage in the middle, and then they run in, they get the little ball on the edge of the box, and they just put a low hard driven kind of ball, and that's where Isak comes into play. That's where Ekitike comes into play. That's the kind of thing that we are missing with our attack. It's that little kind of fullback play that come in, and you can see with what Kerkers has been doing this season as well. When we've had the ball, you may have seen Kerkers kind of drift in a little bit. He's more forward than Van Dijk, but he's on pretty much the same kind of latitude as Van Dijk.
Yeah.
Then you wait for him to either make the running behind Gakpo, which he never gets anyway, or he makes that run kind of in front of him so he can get the ball on like maybe just outside the 6 yard to just either hit it or just play it in. So hopefully someone to get a touch onto.
Yeah, do you know what's interesting? So you are saying you think just one of Ekitike and Isak start. I think tomorrow he starts. I think he starts both. I really do. I think I don't see how he can fucking take Isak out the side. As in, from his position, I think he's got to go with them. I think, muscle memory in it. Both of these forwards have got to keep playing. But if he doesn't, I think tomorrow is the wrong game to be worrying. This is just my opinion. I think Liverpool have got to not worry about what Spurs do. I think Liverpool have got to worry about what they do. If we pack the midfield out, we're not going on the front foot, in my opinion. And I just don't think we can afford to do that tomorrow. I think Liverpool have got to if they've got 3 in midfield with words behind the attackers, I think Liverpool can let them 3 go at Spurs. I really do. Because if you're packing it up, Adam, are you not worrying about them?
Didn't you think that we pressed Brighton the other day? I thought we did.
Oh, we did?
We scored early. So
but we were at home.
Yeah, but we're saying we've got to treat it a little bit like a home game as well, haven't we? As well, against Spurs, we've got to go in and we've got to put it on them. So we've got to treat it as a home game as well. So the midfield, if he does pack the midfield, one can press, and we've always got that backup then if Spurs do break us on transition. So and I can see where they're coming from, I generally can.
Yeah.
But I do think having Wirtz or even like McAllister or even a Jones break hard in that midfield to go and press does sort of help us the last few games.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very interesting. Harry, just before we go to the score prediction, what are you expecting Tottenham 11?
Good question. So my predicted 11 is different to like what I would go with. So I do predicted instead of what I'd go with.
What do you think he will go with?
So I think Frank will go with Vicario and goal. There is outside conversation about Kinski coming in, but I just don't think it's the right game to do so. I think it'll be reactionary. I think Vicario's overhated. He makes lots of mistakes, but he's also saved us in many games. I think that Frank will start Davies at left back because the doggy's out, right? And I think he just, right now, Frank needs experience. He needs stability. It's not what I would do. But I think Frank will bring him in. It just, in my head, it feels right. It just, he likes safe heads at Brentford, and, I think it'd be right for him. Spence at right back, I do want to see him there in his normal position. Porro, I like, but not defensively. Very similar situation you were saying, Kirkes, Verpong. Very similar with Porro. Great going forward, almost like a winger, but defensively,
I like Porro,
yeah, definitely. Yeah, no, 100% good player. I like him, good fullback, but not one-on-one defending. Romero and Van der Ven, of course, are the centre backs. I think the midfield, he'll go with cautious again. He'll go with experience. He really wants experience and kind of physicality in this game. So I think he will go with Bentancur, Paulinho once again. I haven't seen that in the last couple of games. But I think he'll go with Lucas Bergbo, who seems to always play well against Liverpool out of memory. And I just think he could be the one maybe to break through the lines and cause a few problems for the Liverpool midfield, which is really good, by the way. I think he'll start Kudus on the right. I think he'll go with Moani up top. I think he'll look at someone like Richarlison and go, maybe off the bench, you weren't good enough against Forest. We need more than 3 touches, for example. Moani's a bit more... Well, Moani holds the ball up better than Richarlison.
If you're going to go long, you need someone to hold the ball up, don't you?
And Richarlison will be on the floor rather than hold the ball up, all right? He'll try and hold the ball up, but he's on the floor.
Yeah, I want to fight with Virgil that night.
I love the passion, but yeah. But at the same time, you want to end with 11 players on the pitch. You want that aggression and that fight in a big game. And do you know what? We're losing that in modern football, but you've got to do it within reason. And with Richarlison, you can't have respect if you're throwing yourself on the floor, because then when he does get fouled, he doesn't get the free kick. And I think people moan around me. I go, well, yeah, but it's his fault, because if he didn't dive to start with, he's a diver. Let's say how it is. And I think that Frank Wolfson, let's just say how it is. I'm sorry, that's me. Not going to beat around the bush, he dives. Yeah. It's as simple as that. He's not the only one, but he dives. It's a plain right dive,
Crack me up, that loves.
It's a dive, It annoys me every time, even if he gets the foul. I think, well, you shouldn't have got that, should you, really? Cheer up. I'm going, yeah, but I can't. It's not right. For me, it's about the rules.
That's just a nice person.
Well, I try. That's the thing, and my dad hates it all the time, right? I go and watch Arsenal and Chelsea, and I go, "Can you watch them? They're winning." I go, "Yeah, but they're playing good football." I don't like it. They're playing good football. They're winning the game. I like football. Yeah, I like football. Yeah, he hates it, but we have this conversation all the time. I think
it's going to be a good game tomorrow. It's going to be a really good game.
And the other player is, because we don't want to start with 10 men, and we're bad enough if we start with 11, so we have more than that. I think it starts Xavi Simons, but I think maybe on that left-hand side, which would be unpopular amongst the fan base, but he's got to get him in the team. That will be popular, but I think it starts with that left up against whoever starts for you at right back. Could be an area to target, maybe.
What's happened to Johnson? Is he injured?
Yeah. Well, Tottenham's top scorer, no, he's not. Tottenham's top scorer last year. I know it's a scrappy goal, and it's still his goal that won us the Europa League. But there's serious conversations about him leaving and going to Palace. He can't get in the team for Toffee because Kudus is coming on. That's why Greg's point's good, because if Kudus can cope on that left, then Johnson comes in on the right. That's why it's a valid point. Because Johnson, I don't think is a world beater, right? He's not a top winger. He's more an inside forward for me, and that's how I view him. And he suited the Ange system, tap in at back post, and he's an impact player.
He's just tapping, doesn't he?
He is, but I'm one of those that a goal's a goal. If he scored from outside the box or inside the box, apart from you're going to remember it, it's be a match of the day or whatever, first or last. It doesn't really matter to me. A goal's a goal, and I'm very like that. As far as I'm concerned, Tottenham have 1% of the ball tomorrow. If we win the game, we win the game. But the only thing about the performance that matters to me is that in the end, it will catch up with you. That's what's important. It's not about, I don't really care on a day-to-day basis how we play. I don't remember how Tottenham played really in the Europa League final, but you remember the result, you remember who scored, you remember who the outcome. That's my point as well with Spurs fans with performance, right? If Frank can deliver the results like against Newcastle, they're like, but we shut up shop. Yeah, but we got a result. Okay, you're going to remember how we play in the new year? I don't think so. I don't think so at all.
It's going to make for a good game. I think both teams can't afford to lose, Adam. It's as simple as that. And I think Liverpool have to be dominant tomorrow. You maybe not have to go at them all straight away. I think Liverpool need to take control, cool the crowd down, because if the crowd turns, I think because Spurs have gone through a few managers, they don't hold back now. Do you know, when you get in that cycle, you get a bit more fucking vocal, don't you? When they've been sacking more, they probably know that the club will probably sack quite quick, because they have been doing recently. So I think Liverpool need to play the game and not the fucking occasion, get carried away. Cannot be given anyway stupid fucking goals. Not a chance. Liverpool do that, then they deserve all the shit. You know what I mean? Score prediction.
My score prediction is 3-0 Liverpool. I feel really bad because you're there, Harry, but I'm not taking the piss.
That's all right. No, you're fine. We're awful. We just lost 3-0. It's fine.
I think we really will turn up. I think we'll take our chances. And I'll just say, I've seen you go forward, and I don't think you're that great, obviously, going forward at the minute. So I think we can keep a clean sheet, which is very rare for Liverpool at the minute, lads, as well. So.
Greg, what are we saying, lads? Come on!
High-scoring game. I'm saying 4-2 to Liverpool.
What score did you say?
4-2 to Liverpool.
Lads, giving me a fucking heart.
Listen, I'm kind of just going off. I know last season that you don't really do that, because if you're going off last season for Leeds, we would have fucking sunk them 6-1 again. But I don't know. I just think because the kind of situations both teams are in, they're both desperate for a win, and desperate times call for desperate measures, and Tottenham might do a few desperate things which leaves them quite open, which Liverpool would expose. But then it's the same thing with Liverpool. Liverpool have been losing this season due to individual errors. And again, just a bit of silly moments where they're just a bit too eager to do something, and then we concede. So high scoring game, 4-2 to Liverpool, and then Christmas tunes on the speaker with James Pope on the way back home, lad.
Lad, well, I've told Adam, lad, that he's going to be getting a go on your speaker, lad, on the way back from Arsenal.
And our speaker's heavy, you know.
Lad, you know that. We'll educate him on the way home from Arsenal, lad. I'm going 3-1, boys. I think, unfortunately, sometimes against Spurs, Liverpool seem to concede. They seem to do all right in front of goal at times against us. Whether or not it happens, I know Harry spoke about the front line being quite, up and down for Spurs, but I don't know. It's just about us, Harry, this year. Liverpool concede goals. Your lads last night, I think Mark mentioned about you concede a lot of chances. Well, we do as well at times. Brighton could have scored a couple the other day. Fortunately, we kept it quite tight.
You could have at the end as well, to be fair. You had a couple of big chances.
Yeah, Salah, like with the pass and all that,
Yeah. So we've got to be smart, but it makes for a great game. Harry, scoreline tomorrow. I know what you said. I'm not going to say what you said yesterday, but you give these boys what you think.
Go on, give it. Give it us.
You've got to go for a win now, Harry.
Yeah, 5-1.
I'd love to, but I'd say so. I can't. I just don't have it in me to lie to myself, and I struggled yesterday. No, yesterday I did say 2-2, but I just listened to Frank's press conference, and I don't know. It just sounds like a man who's worried for his job, and things like that concern me. I actually think Tottenham will come with a really good game plan delivered by Thomas Frank. I agree with Greg that there actually be goals in it. I don't see.
He might compact the game out tomorrow, Harry.
Yeah, definitely. And I don't see the goals coming from Tottenham's point of view. I actually think you'll make a few mistakes at the back, which you're not for the first time, but I think you'll be good in attack. So I've changed my mind a little bit. I think Liverpool will win 3-2. I think it'll be one of those kind of, tennis kind of games where very similar to what we saw at Old Trafford, not quite as much, but similar to that kind of thing. But I think in the end that both teams will make a lot of errors. But I think what will prove, I think Isak will start up and firing. I think Etitike will continue his good form. I think Wirtz gets a couple of assists as well. I think going forward, you'll really click and maybe take a lot from that and push on. I think defensively is where the issues are.
Do you know, after you've given us a great speech there, Harry, do you know if we fucking lose, mate, I'm going to be fucking fuming at our boys.
I'm going to find you.
I'm so deflated now if we don't fucking win.
The bet for tomorrow, anyway, is Pedro Porro booking because he gets Christmas off.
Absolutely.
That's the bet. Put it all on Pedro Porro.
He loves the booking. He loves the moan. Do you know, it won't be for a tackle, it'll be for dissent.
Yeah.
We've got a few of them. Don't you worry about that. Our forwards lift the shirts up against Southampton and all sorts, lads. So
Paulinho in the 92nd minute when we equalised against Wolves took his shot off and he'd done laps of the pitch. I mean, I said to him, what's wrong with you? I said, what's wrong with him? Celebrating. I hate the celebration, please, right? But
I knew everything was wrong at Spurs the moment they celebrated that 2-1 against us, like it was party time, lad. You know what I mean? I remember just saying,
I tell you what, I did enjoy that, I must admit.
I was getting the way in, looking at all mates, I'm thinking, so why the fuck are they singing Free From Desire?
Yeah.
What's going on here?
Do you know what? It's going to be a great game. It usually is. It's probably, for a neutral, it's one of the best games to watch, Tottenham and Liverpool.
Oh, I agree.
It always has been fast, especially when it's been Pochettino and Klopp. The fucking football was brilliant because
we're going to get a dull game now. You wait, we're going to get like a dull game, aren't we?
I'm calling the club saying you fuckers have let me down after Harry's speech. Do you know what? It's always been for a neutral. It's always been a great watch. Klopp and Pochettino's football back then was amazing to watch. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's going to be interesting. Both managers under the cost, boys. But look, before we go, obviously Adam, as always, Greg, as always, spot on. We have a laugh on this show, mate, and we don't hold back, Harry. This is the best thing about us on here. We have a fucking good laugh with it. But look, Harry, to our viewers, give a plug your channel, and obviously we appreciate you coming on, mate.
Again, like I said at the start, thank you so much, and again for your time yesterday on my podcast. It's much appreciated. Thank you very much, and hopefully it doesn't come back to bite, because every time I get an opposition fan on, it seems to go down that for Spurs. So maybe I'm the curse this year after all this talk about there's a problem at the club. Maybe it's me. Not that important, don't worry. But no, thank you firstly for having me. Yeah, you can follow me at HarryScarf22. I mean, to be honest with you, some of the content isn't too popular because, as I said, I don't start with a explosive start. I just if there's nothing to talk about, I'll be honest with you, let's go look. Yes, let's be balanced, and I can give credit to other clubs. I enjoy talking about other clubs. I'm not just I can put my Spurs bias aside. Which I'm very fortunate. I'm very lucky to be able to do.
What Arsenal can't do.
It can't. No, I don't know why either. Like I can sit here right now. I can sit here right now and tell you I think Arsenal win the Premier League. It's not what I want to do. My answer of what I think will happen, what I want to do is different. There are people that can't get it out of their mouth, and I just go, look, you're lying to yourself. I don't do that. And if I think Tottenham can lose a game, they lose a game. But at the same time, I will support the team and I will support the manager, which I think some supporters forget that the job of supporter is to back the club through thick and thin. They only seem to like to do the thin bit. You know, I don't know why. But no, I just want to say thank you. I do also have my channel as well, Harry Scarf, and started with Tottenham content. Now do Spurs Women as well, delivered by other people, FPL content. I do a lot of stuff covering all Premier League clubs as well with news. So that's been great, and it's a pleasure as well to win an award this year. Just credit to everyone that watches.
Honestly, well done.
No, it wouldn't be possible that going on amazing channels and that like this, and you know I really enjoy it. So thank you for your time, and I wish you all the best for the rest of the season. If you can stop Arsenal, it'll be very, very difficult, but that would be great. Well, because our fan base will start, you know, hopefully easing off on the team a little bit.
Liverpool have done some strange things. I'm telling you right now, Liverpool have made history on strange things. Yeah,
Greg, we don't like to do it easy, do we, lad?
No chance.
That's why fucking Arnie Slot's got no hair, just because last season was fucking mad. But look, you know, I dislike Arsenal. Harry, I know you do as well. But one thing Liverpool have got to do is they've got to make it difficult for Arsenal. And obviously, unfortunately for you, we've got to go and win tomorrow and start propelling our season, because we can put a few wins together. It's only the 8th of January, Harry, that we go to the Emirates, and Liverpool have got to make sure that till that game, Adam, we've spoken about it, we can't lose any game. If we get that run going, we can go to the Emirates and do a number on Arsenal. Liverpool are back in the mix.
Yeah, and that's why we're open.
Definitely.
We all want entertainment. That's the thing. Whatever we want to have, we want entertainment.
Yeah.
Well, Reds, look, as again, you know, thanks very much for Harry joining us. Greg, Adam, pleasure as always. Reds, keep the faith. Big one tomorrow. Let's hope we get 3 points. We have to. Playing catch up. It's been great to have Harry on. So make sure you subscribe to his channels. Give him the support, because putting the content out difficult, especially when your team aren't fucking playing well. We know that on here. That's why we're always fucking kicking off.
No,
yeah, we'll be back tomorrow.
Yeah.
Mine are like fucking simmercastles. But Reds,
and there's literally shit in my eyes. I'd look at the state of them, lads.
My beard's turning, my beard's turning fucking ginger and everything, lad. So
your beard as well.
Reds, we'll be back tomorrow. Hopefully 3 points. See you soon. Up the Reds.